Hello, guys. We are glad you're on for another great episode. We've got the wonderful, the great money coach
Oh
Mary
my.
RN, myself, and we are honored to have the one and only coming from a long ways. As a matter of fact, she's going to be going to even a greater place. Dee Zimmerman, we are honored to have you here.
Thanks, David. Thanks, Mary.
Sure. Glad to have you,
Thanks.
Dee. Tell us about the sweetness of doing nothing. How did that come about?
I heard you say it in Italian. You said it so well. Dolce far niente. The sweetness of doing nothing.
I did,
Yeah.
but I'm
Yeah.
going to leave the Italian to you.
Yeah. I don't speak Italian, but it sounds so much better in Italian, doesn't it?
It
Yeah.
does.
Yeah.
It does.
Yeah. So it's very purposeful. It's intentional. So it's not just sitting around and with no purpose. It's like a pleasurable pause. You're not trying to produce something. You're not trying to optimize or solve problems. You are just being present in the moment. You're resting.
Wow.
And when you can find yourself in that space and doing that, it opens up so much, so many other things. I'll leave it at that. I know we'll get there. But basically, that's what it means. It's translated dolce as sweetness, of course. Far is to do, and niente is nothing.
You know what? I just have to say this. When we were setting this up and we were going over the topic and everything, I was like, doing nothing. And then when I was understanding, it's not nothing, it's purposely resting, right? I
Yeah.
was like, we do that. I don't know if you've heard of like PQ or anything like that.
Oh, actually, I have. Yeah, I'm quite familiar with positive intelligence, and yes.
So I'm actually one of the PQ coaches, but the thing is like
Uh-huh.
me and Mary went through it, and they do meditations, they do the PQ reps and all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and you're intentionally doing nothing to clear that mind. And it's so powerful because
Yes.
after we were going through it, I was like, you know what? We do nothing to bring that
Uh-huh.
peace.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. And I guess I think the reason that you can call it purposeful or intentional is because, well, number one, we need that. But as I said, it opens you up to other things coming in that when we are just like boom, 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 trying to be productive, do things, check things off the list and stuff. Do we hear other things as well? Do we feel? Do we sense? Do we get direction as well? We really don't. I mean, sometimes we get really inspired. It's like, oh, I got this great idea because I was working on something else. But the truth is, there also needs to be this time because I think, and it's been my experience, that I hear and feel and get that direction in a deeper way.
Hmm.
That's how it's so purposeful, so instructive, so fulfilling.
That is true. Personally, I have to really concentrate on that
Mm-hmm.
because my mind seems to hardly ever turn off.
Yeah, of course.
But I do also find, Dee, that when I can turn my mind off
Mm-hmm.
and I can hear other things that I'm supposed to,
Mm-hmm. You just
there's
heard
a big
something.
boom outside. I did.
See?
The nurse in me goes, "What? Do I need to
Oh,
go?"
yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think you were finishing that thought. Sorry.
well, yeah, it is when I can sit and think about and concentrate and meditate.
Mm-hmm.
It opens up a whole different level in my mind, and I love those times.
Yeah. And for me, how I recently experienced it in a really powerful way, it wasn't those mini, I call them mini nothings. What mini nothings when you sit and you do, like you mentioned the PQ or yeah, just just sitting and resting and letting the thoughts flow in and out. That's fine. You don't have to, it's not about like not thinking about anything, right? But the way I experienced it in the most powerful way recently was pretty much 5.5 weeks of doing nothing.
Oh,
Nice.
Now that's a powerful dose of dolce far niente.
I would have to build up to that.
Yeah. But I guess my point is that I wasn't just sitting and trying to like clear my mind that whole time. I was
Yes.
on a road trip. I did check in on and maintained my financial coaching business, but didn't really produce a lot during that
Sure.
time, right?
Sure.
It was all about traveling and experiencing and seeing new places. Well, experiencing, that's what that is. And soaking it in, observing and enjoying and lingering. I like that word. My husband and I talked about that a lot while we were doing that. We were lingering. We'd go to a cafe. We were places where there was outdoor cafes. It was wonderful. It was here in the country, but yeah, and we just lingered, and the schedule wasn't that tight, and so there was a lot of dolce far niente during that time.
Ooh,
I
that
understand that very
sounds
well because like coming from like the big
Yeah.
city up here in Michigan,
Uh-huh.
everything is fast paced and gotta do.
Mhm.
Go down in Tennessee and everything is like slow down, have
Yeah.
patience. There is no time. Just do it when it happens. When you
Oh,
live out in the country, no
yeah.
time.
Yeah, Les. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and what happened was I was really able to unplug. My husband was really able to unplug, and we lived kind of in a different way, where we were much more present in the moment.
mm,
And when I've said it opens you up to new things a couple of times, well, it it opened us up to reevaluating this season in our lives, this next season in our lives, where he recently retired. We're getting older, but we're old enough to still be very active and healthy. And it was an opportunity to reevaluate and to have the courage to look at things in a new way. And it just over time, just kind of like, wow, it kind of tore some things down and started introducing new things into our lives that we're now stepping into, making some changes and some moves. And so more of a radical, shift in our lives, not a change of identity or anything like that, but just a radical shift in some ways of how we express, how we live. And um, yeah, I think that sweetness of doing nothing in kind of a injected in a very powerful and sort of sustained way allowed us to make some big moves in our lives and feel guidance in that.
nice.
Yeah,
That is so freeing. And that is
it
just
is.
to
Yeah.
to actually feel like you've got that message. And we're like you said, we're always going 1,000 miles a minute.
Mm-hmm.
And to be able to pull back and slow down and be present is huge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And one of the other things that it did was it sparked a new curiosity in things that I didn't have before.
And what
So, partly because we're traveling, I'm seeing new landscapes, different behaviors, culture, music, all of that, different climate. Even I'm just kind of goofy, but even I would notice the clouds and I'd look it up, like, what does this kind of cloud mean? Like, what is it doing? Why does it form in that way? It's different than Colorado. And, learning about all of that. And then the region we were in is so rich with Civil War history and even just colonization and all of that. And I was like, I've never been here before. And I was like, I don't know this history the way I want to. And so now I'm just like re-energized with this insatiable curiosity about learning new things. And I'm 63. Maybe I shouldn't have, I don't want to say I shouldn't. I want to have this energy and this, life and this like delight in these new things. So yeah, unplugging was transformational. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find that brought you two closer together?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We didn't want the road trip to end, actually. It was like, this is a closeness. Yeah. That was sweet.
That's why it took 5 weeks.
Yeah, in a car.
We kind of did the same thing. We went for our
Yeah.
25th. We went to Ireland, spent 2 weeks
Mm-hmm.
driving around Ireland. Well, he was driving, I was riding, and I was manning the maps
Yeah, yeah. Teamwork.
and the roundabouts.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. And driving on the
On the
on
other
the
on the
right
other
side.
side of the road, yes.
Oh, I don't know if I
Wrong
wanted to
side.
ever do that. Yeah. Oh no.
It was,
Yeah. Ironically though, this all sounds great. And, probably listeners are going like, yeah, it must be nice. Well, let me tell you, I'm back down to, real life. Okay. And I think it is great to be able to do those kinds of things, or even just like a week, and dedicate it to the sweetness of doing nothing, right? It will be transformational. However, I'm in now a situation where I am under the gun time-wise to get some things done. And it's because of some changes we're making. But there is no margin of time and I am exhausted. I took a nap before this and I think I feel great, but I am exhausted. And do I like it? No, it's not the kind of flow to my life that I wanted when I came back. I came back and I had a new flow to my life. Then mother-in-law fell and we had to go back and travel some more and take care of her. It was very, very difficult. And then came back here and then we had to make these work on these projects and get things done. So I am struggling to find the sweetness of doing nothing, right? So when we are in these seasons of life, if we can just be compassionate and understanding about that, sometimes that does have to be put on hold, but can you grab? I know you feel like you got to check off everything off the list, but can you grab 10 minutes and sit down and do nothing? I don't mean go over the checklist. I don't mean watch TV. That's escape, and that there's a place for that too.
right.
But can you do that? I think even, no matter what your life looks like, if you can find that 10 minutes of doing nothing, and that might be with your kids, doing nothing with your kids if you have younger kids, we're just playing, whatever, but with yourself as well. Mm-hmm.
I do that every morning.
Yeah, a lot of people do kind of have that exercise.
That's my time.
Yeah.
The Lord wakes me up at 3:00 in the morning, no matter what time I go to bed, which is why I now go to bed about 8:30.
I would too. Wow.
It's like straight up 3:00. Okay.
Oh,
And
geez.
now that the weather's getting nice, I go out, I do my workout, and I come out here on my screened-in porch, my outside office, and I bring my coffee and my rosary, my devotional, and I sit out here for several hours.
Mm-hmm.
And
Several hours, Mary?
when I've got a meeting,
Uh-huh.
usually my first meetings are like 8:30. I'll
Okay.
be sitting here going, I really just want to sit here and continue to drink coffee, but I can't because I have commitments. Oh, Aaron says hi. He said, tell Dee that he said hello. That was Aaron.
Hi, Aaron. Nice to know that you're there. I've enjoyed our conversations in the past.
Yeah, I know with me, I'm lucky if I get 4 hours. 2, 3, 4 hours of sleep is typically what I get through the week. And so I look for those
No, that's
patches where I can find nothing to do. And usually it's just 2 or 3 minutes when I
Mhm.
do a rep or, I'm doing something like that. But other than that, I'm like solid busy. Matter of fact, was working on something with another coach recently, working on a project and late hours, I'm still working on it. Send him a text. He's not awake or anything, but send him a text. Yeah, I'm still working on it. See, this shows you that I don't get much sleep. But now, I'll be honest with you, on Sunday, I catch up on my sleep through the week.
yeah. Okay, they say that doesn't work, but we're going to have another podcast on sleep then, David.
I don't know. I might have to sleep in for that one. No.
Sleep through that one, yeah.
See, Aaron said yes, enrichment 2 years ago was fun.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I sure was. I was just telling Mary that you have a delightful, cheerful demeanor, and it was lovely. Hmm.
The sweetness of doing nothing. I agree so wholeheartedly that even though we are so busy, taking that time to do that is transformational.
Yeah.
Because during that time, it's like you said, it's not like you're not thinking about anything, but it's the things that come flood into your brain
Yes.
and you're like, oh. I have some of my best thoughts out here on my screened in porch.
Mm-hmm. Right. We are more receptive. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be while we're doing other things, but
Sure.
just doing things that, like I said, are just pleasurable, just lingering.
Yeah.
Your walks, seeing nature, watching people, we were traveling and seeing lots of different things and just, not being in a rush and just taking our time and with that curiosity and thinking about what we were seeing and
Mm-hmm.
enjoying it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I love how you added people. So, like,
Oh,
what I
yeah.
picture is like when you're sitting out there, you're watching nature, see a bird. Oh, look how beautiful that is. A butterfly, an animal. Look
Mm-hmm.
how beautiful. Look at nature, all that kind of stuff. See people. Why are they wearing that? Can they really do that? Like when we're looking at nature, things like that, it's so magnificent, it's so beautiful, right?
We're less judgmental.
Yeah, but when we're looking at people, we're
Yeah.
so judgmental.
Or we're not afraid of nature judging us, but we
Right.
are afraid of people judging us.
For
There's
sure.
just a dynamic that
For
you're
sure.
right is so different. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Aaron, I agree with Aaron, and I just have to say this. So he wishes he can do nothing. And I'm with him on that because unless I'm doing a rep or something like that, I am so busy, so many things to do, being pulled in so many
Yeah.
directions. I don't have time to do nothing. That's why I get so little sleep. So I agree with Aaron when he says, "I wish I can do nothing." I feel like I need to be doing something all the time, which drives his wife crazy.
Hmm. Aaron, what would come crashing down tomorrow if you were to set aside a time, like I don't know what the best time is, but 9:50 a.m. or something, to 10 a.m. and you took nothing with you? You can take a notebook if you want and jot down thoughts or something, but you found a chair. Nobody else was around or something. If you just sat there for 10 minutes, um, I what bad stuff would happen if you did that? David, I'll ask you the same question.
Okay, so in my perspective, What bad stuff would happen? Simply, I wouldn't get things done.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, I wouldn't get things done.
What if I told you you would be more productive if you did?
Well, see, because I give my reps, I usually do 3 minutes.
Mhm.
Before my morning prayer, I usually do 5 minutes there.
Yeah.
And typically it's 2 to 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And that's before I do something so that I can kind of clear my mind. If I had to
Yeah.
take more time than that,
Mhm.
something's not getting done. So he actually spends from 5:30 to 6:30 every morning with God. So I guess
Yeah.
that counts as doing nothing.
Yeah. I wonder if when I hear you say it, David, I know what PQ reps are, and I think that might be more palatable to you because you are kind of doing something. You feel like it's an exercise,
Yeah, and it's intentional because, like, for instance, one of the
Yeah.
things you do is you take your fingers and you actually feel the grooves. So it's not
Yes.
just rubbing your fingers, it's you actually intentively feeling
Mhm.
your fingers.
Mhm. Mhm.
Or when you're sitting and you're breathing, you're actually
Mhm.
focusing in on that breath. Breathe
Yeah.
in and you feel that breath. You feel the air, you feel it
Yeah.
going in. So you're intentively,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I wonder if it's not this. I wonder though if we aren't if it if it's really not sweetness of doing nothing. Like there's something about sweetness of doing nothing where it's unpredictable.
mm,
You've got your prayer. You know how you pray. You've got your PQ. You know how you do the PQs. It's something a little different. It's like
mhm,
I don't know what's going to come of this, and I don't know who I'm going to be in it. And so that's why I would imagine that it would be rather uncomfortable for you maybe at first, but I think it would be really beneficial
mhm.
to
Well, and
to do that,
and just
to
being
just sit there. And like I said, it can be walking or that kind of thing, but for you, I would say just sit and see what
Mhm.
happens.
Well, and for me, that's very hard. That's one of the issues I
I
have with
know.
God because I'm a very big planner, plotter. I gotta
Yep.
have everything laid out, right? And so, God, we operate very fast. This is a very
Mhm.
fast-paced life. We gotta do this, we gotta do this. We operate very fast. And
Mhm.
God operates very slowly, right? Just like out in the country. It gets done when it gets done. We're working on it. It'll get done. And so, he'll give you one piece. And he gives you pieces. He'll give you the whole puzzle, but it comes one piece at a time. So he'll
Mhm.
give me a piece, and I'm like, okay, great, I've got it. Plop, 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 plop. And then he strips everything away. He says, start with what I gave you, and here's the second piece. It's like, okay, boom, I got it. Plop, 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 plop. I got to make it work, right?
Mm.
Because when is he going to give me the
But
next
do you?
piece? What's that?
When is he going to give you
But do
what?
you?
When is he going to
Oh,
give me
the
the
next
next
piece. Oh,
piece? Because he
yeah. And then
gives
what do
you
you
a
say?
piece at a time. So when is he going to give me the
Yes.
next piece? I can't wait. So I start plopping things in.
But I got to figure it out. But do you?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Because we always have it figured out in our term,
Yeah.
not in his term. And his term always works, ours doesn't.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but the
So
Yeah.
way
what
I'm
Dee's
set up,
saying, what
but the way I'm set up is
what
I gotta fill in that gap. So I'm going to plop in and I'm going to make sure it gets done, even though he has to strip it all away and start over.
Okay.
I see what
but
you're
what
doing.
if you didn't?
Nothing.
I know. I just felt like I needed to. I just needed to.
Right.
The sweetness
But
of
Dave,
nothing.
but David, what if you didn't try to plop everything in? What if you just went,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna wait.
My mind would go crazy. I can't.
Mhm.
What am I doing in this waiting space? I got to get things done. I got to keep moving,
You're preparing. You're
right?
Yeah.
preparing for what he's gonna send next.
Mm.
And so my mind thinks, okay, got to prepare. What are we preparing for? Let's get ready. Let's do that. Prepare in doing nothing and waiting. It's like, what?
Some of the most important parts of life don't look productive at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
Hmm.
It's that peace.
Well,
That's exactly what it is.
do you feel peace though? I mean, you probably feel I think you love your life. You love doing this, right?
Oh, I love it.
This is
I,
what,
I
yeah.
love helping people out. I love
Mhm.
when people get excited when they catch something. I love it. I'm like in cloud nine.
Mhm.
So I mean, that's my
Mhm.
adrenaline. That's what keeps me pumping.
Mhm.
Now, doing reps, doing meditations, kind of
Mhm.
clearing the mind, get my mental fitness in the works. Just actually getting there. That's what I do to keep my sanity. That's what I do to keep operating in the right brain waves instead
Yeah.
of operating in the, you know.
That's really helpful. I'm glad that you have that exercise, that discipline.
hmm
Yeah. That's really good.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's thankfully, so I actually fell into it, to be honest with you. There was this one coach that he was on a podcast, and after the podcast, he talked with us, and he was like, I'm doing this thing. Do you want to come and check it out? I was like, mm, I guess I could. And so I took it with the person. I loved it so much. I was like, "Oh, this is so powerful." So then I led a class, and then after that class I led, I became a PQ coach.
Mhm.
It changed my life. I mean, it's just a simple 6 weeks, and in the simple 6 weeks, it changed my life so much. I was like, "Oh, if it does
I'm
this to
glad.
me,
I don't doubt it. I know it
imagine what it
well.
can do to other people."
Yeah. Yeah. I coach some of it myself, actually, in a group. Yeah, it's good. And my husband has used it. It's been very helpful for him. You too, Mary?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It made me think of something avoidance, because one of the saboteurs in
The
positive
avoider.
intelligence
Right.
is avoidance. Um, in this context of sweetness of doing nothing, I don't see this as avoidance,
Mm-mm.
yeah, or escape, right?
Mhm.
Because it's purposeful. Yeah. Um, and I think that we can apply it to other areas of life. We can apply it to how we manage our money, knowing
Mhm.
that you guys are financial coaches too. So bringing that up, how we approach our faith. Yeah, I think the concept overlaps, and can be applied to other areas.
Agreed. Agreed.
Yeah.
Mhm,
And
mhm,
that's why, I say, like, I've been coaching since 97, right? I was on this path to figure out what I was supposed to be doing. And step one, step two, step three, started coaching, stuff like that, right? And my purpose, I was told, okay, this is your purpose. I was like, okay, great. And so, this, and this
mhm.
all becomes this. Well, in
You said,
that, so I'm coaching, I'm doing this, great. I'm doing this, great. This I could see, this I didn't really see. I was doing financial coaching, didn't really see it. And then started doing PQ. It actually lined all of the coaching together
mm,
into the big plan. It's like, oh, wait, all these pieces that I've been doing has actually
mm,
all been for the one purpose.
mm,
It's like,
mm.
wow, you
Yeah, that's
know,
so exciting when things come together like that.
Right.
And you,
you know,
yeah,
yeah.
When you can
So
actually trace it.
yeah,
what it
right,
was is I
Mary.
was standing on the stage. I don't know if you guys have been to New York, but there's a stage that is huge,
I have.
and all you see is people and trees.
Mm.
And so I was standing on the stage, and I was preaching, and it was awesome. I was like, oh, great. All of a sudden, I started sliding towards the back, and three people came up from the front and came to the middle as I came to the back of the stage. And the three people stayed in the center of the stage. And this big, huge beam of light came and hit my head. Then the beam split to three and hit the three's head. And then it split to millions and hit the whole audience. And I was like, okay, I love it. A leader of leaders. And so then he started gearing me towards, in the ministry, pastors leave the ministry all the time. Over 10,000 pastors walk away every single month because of burnout, stressed out, stuff like that. So I started helping them to give them the strength, because they can't talk to their own congregation because they're judging them as far as, who are you to talk to me, right? So they don't want you to be equal, so they put you on a pedestal and everything, and they can't talk to their own people. So they have to have a place where they can go. So I was like, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do because it fits in that line, right? But leaders is much more than just pastors. And so as I kept going, then I was doing in ICF business and executive, because I used to be in executive level of businesses, and didn't really feel fruitful there. I mean, yes, I helped many people out, but I didn't feel like that was part of my calling at the time. Then I got into financial coaching and I worked my way up in that, was doing great, helped a lot of people, didn't feel that's where I was supposed to be. And then I was getting ready to go to Tony Robbins, but before I did, I ran into this other guy that brought me into PQ. And it was like, when I did that, it was like all of a sudden everything connected. And I was like, oh, this is the sweet
Wonderful.
sauce.
Oh,
And
that's
like, I've done meditations before. I originally learned from a Navajo Indian. And then I learned from a Hindu Indian. And then I learned Christian meditation. And then, so I've learned 4 different styles of meditation. I've learned 3 different styles of deep breathing. So through the years, I've learned different styles, but it was just to piece together so you have a complete understanding. And it was just like, okay. And then when I took this final piece, it was like, this is where you're supposed to be. I'm like, oh, okay, I see it
terrific.
now.
Yeah, that's really cool, David. I'm really glad. Yeah. And yeah, what I know of in my experience with positive intelligence, PQ for short, it is very, very helpful. Very, very helpful. So you will be able to help a lot of people with that. Yeah. Mary, um, are you coaching still primarily in the financial
Primarily.
area?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So am I, but my emphasis is on couples.
I have kind of two. Like, I built a 6-week curriculum for young people to help them learn what life is going to do before life gets a hold of them, and how
Very
to
good.
understand money. So
Yeah. Well, I think just to make a connection with the sweetness of doing nothing to money, I mentioned avoidance, and avoidance is often a way that we respond to
absolutely.
money, or we respond the very opposite, where we're constantly evaluating,
Mhm.
constantly monitoring it, and we don't want either of those extremes. So to relate back, dolce far niente is not about avoiding and just shutting down. It's not about that. And it's not about worrying and having to be productive and always doing things with your money, like checking your
Correct.
balances or moving your money around, or even like trying to earn more, desperately trying to earn more income. There can be times when that is very intentional
Sure.
for a short, season of time, or to, as you're able to advance and things like that. And it's needed, but it's neither of those extremes. But it's hard not to do either of one of those two, unless you get to that sweet spot of being
Correct.
able to feel confident in
Mhm.
managing your money. So you have systems in the background. You've addressed your behavioral patterns, and if you're a
Correct.
couple, the patterns you have as couples and that sort of thing. You do have to have those addressed and healed and systems brought in so that you don't have to think about money all the time.
Right.
And you're not running
Right.
away from it, and you're not constantly monitoring it either.
Right.
So that's kind of how I would apply dolce far niente to our money world.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because when you, my opinion, when you develop, like you said, those systems and that way to do things, you
Yeah.
can have that peace to do not necessarily nothing, but you can be more intentional about not having to be so busy,
Yeah.
chasing that income, chasing that next goal,
Mm-hmm.
and avoiding some of the things you may miss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't do this because, I can't go to my kid's game because I've got to do this.
Yeah.
You're missing out on some of the family time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was thinking of avoiding in a slightly different angle, but I really like what you just mentioned as well. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, and then yeah, I was also thinking about how the choices that we make, like if you're raising kids,
Mhm.
what I've run into with clients is they are often in just these really high consumption years because of raising children, right?
Sure. Of course.
All the activities that they're in, all the extracurricular activities. So a lot of times we'll end up in conversations about stepping back for a moment,
Mhm.
paying attention to them, seeing them, observing your reaction to the lifestyle that you've chosen. A lot of times we are doing the opposite of this notion of sweetness because, well, we just kind of fell into it, like, oh, well, of course I pay for this and that. And of course they're involved in this and that and everything. And I'm driving them all over the place and the money's flying out the window because this stuff is darn expensive. And so this is what our life costs. Or we got in this bigger house because, well, everybody else is doing it, and that must mean, we got to have a bedroom for all the kids and, all this kind of stuff. But then we don't take the time to, are we happy?
Right.
Are we really happy with those choices? Are our kids really happy with those choices? So it's a grind, and that productivity um, applied to, yeah, the lifestyle choices that we've made as a family and for our kids, that we stop asking ourselves about. We're just in the middle of it and trying to keep up with it.
Right.
And
Are we
yeah,
happy? Are our kids happy?
yeah.
Is our family unit happy?
Yeah, yeah. And sometimes they discover, well, wow,
Right.
yeah, I
Yeah.
hadn't really stopped to think about it. And I've got no financial margin. I've got no relational margin, really.
Right.
And sometimes people discover those things in coaching when we bring up the conversations,
Right.
ask hard questions, is sometimes they discover it, when they have something enter into their lives so they didn't expect, some kind of crisis or whatever, can kind of knock us out of our
Hmm.
or even maybe it's just a vacation that they did make, and they have more time to reflect and linger and enjoy life in a different way and see things differently. Yeah.
My niece we were talking during COVID. She goes, I kind of like this, not everything that's going on, but I like
Oh,
the fact that things are shut down because we were
yes.
forced to take our kids out of the sports we were doing every night
Right.
because they shut down. I'm like, what would it be like if you didn't go back to all of that?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't.
Oh,
They
that's
picked and
good.
chose.
Yeah.
So the boys, the oldest does baseball and the younger one does archery, and they are fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
They're not in a sport for all seasons.
Yeah.
They're not doing the traveling leagues.
Yeah.
And so they're able to save some money and have a little bit more breathing room at home.
Yeah. It's really interesting that you brought up COVID because I've heard a lot of people changed the course of their lives during COVID.
Yeah. Yeah, I sure did.
That you can trace back to a little bit more of that that element, that character of doing nothing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Forced to.
Forced on us.
Yeah.
But I think for a while, it was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah, there's a lot of craziness and insanity about it as well. I'm glad it's over, but it did a lot of people made some big changes during that time that they look back at and they're very glad that they did. Yeah.
We were just in Nashville not too long ago, and I struck up a conversation with a lady in the hotel lobby, and it was late, and I'm like, "Are you traveling? Are you vacationing? Or what are you doing?" She goes, "It's a traveling hockey league." And I'm like, "Oh." She goes, and I said, "Where are you from?" She goes, "St. Louis." I said, "Me too." She's like, "What?" I said, "Yes." So here, two of us from St. Louis meeting up in Nashville.
Yeah.
In the hotel lobby. But we struck, and we were saying, she was like, "Oh, it's so expensive and this and that's a lot of time."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What would it look like if you didn't?" She's like, "I don't know." She goes, "But you know what? I think I need to think about that."
Yeah.
And some of my clients, same thing, we're having to make more money to support this activity. I'm like, I'm going to say this in the best way possible, and I mean it in the most loving manner. But is this activity going to produce what you're thinking it's going to produce? Is your child participating in this travel, whatever league? Is that going to lead to them being a professional? And they're like, probably not. I said, okay. Is it something that is necessary for you and for your family to continue? And the thought process is like, didn't I never thought about it because it's kind of what we fell into, and it's what has to happen. Why does it have to happen?
Good to ask those questions. What I have heard though is from others is, well, and I don't argue back. I mean, it could be, but the most successful kids, this is what I've heard, the most successful kids are those that are involved in all of these things.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that that's the case. No. That's just what I've heard. And I'm like, I think we need to dig a little. I'm not convinced yet. Right.
Right.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not. Exposes them. There's team. Lots of things that you learn. But I think like the family you mentioned, what they chose, like they didn't have to be in a sport that filled up every season. They chose one. They get things from that.
Yes.
Doesn't mean they have to be in all of them. Some of them take more time. I know hockey is huge. Soccer, you're all over the place, right? But there is that where they want them that exposure and those experiences and so forth. I just think it easily sort of balloons.
Well, absolutely. Agreed.
Right. Yeah. So yeah.
We had my middle child, we had her in gymnastics for a while. And she was good. But they kept wanting her to advance. And it went from one night a week to 2 nights a week. And then it went from one night a week to 3 nights a week. And then every time that this happened, that they promoted her to the next level, which I'm thinking, I didn't see any real improvement over the last level, but I'm not the gymnastics coach. It was more money.
Oh, yeah. You have to wonder about that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I finally said to her, I'm like, look, honey, I know you love gymnastics and she's good at it and she bends like a pretzel. But I told her, I said, I mean, this is taking over your life
Yeah.
and it's taking over our family and it's your brother who doesn't get to do all of this, except he's tagging along with me while I take you 3 nights a
Yeah.
week. And that's so fun for him. And I said, you know what? I said, we really have to decide what you want to do. And she's like, I don't think I want to do it anymore. I'm like, okay. So are you sure? I said, I'll keep taking you 1 night a week, but I'm not devoting 3 full nights a week and then more to this, and she was like, okay, and I explained that because we were doing the Ramsey when we were on our debt-free journey. So we were living the Ramsey stuff. And I told her, I said, this is a chunk of change that's not going to allow us to do this. So we got to make some choices. And that's when she's like, yeah, I'd rather do the other thing.
That's great. And to have her have some say in that, for sure.
Yeah.
It wasn't just you deciding. David, you're back. You were there all the time, but we didn't see your video, I think. David, just do this for me. 5 minutes. Sit and do nothing tomorrow.
Okay,
Not prayer, not PQ. For you, my prescription. I'm not making this for Mary because I think I think we got more of a challenge over here.
Well, it was funny because I was about to say, well, you know what? I'll give you 5 minutes before my morning prayer, but that has to do with PQ.
No, yeah, I want it to have nothing prescribed for you. Nothing prescribed.
You can have 5 minutes before the
Just do
PQ.
it as an experiment. Yeah, just do an experiment. Let me know how awful it was.
I'm gonna side with Kimberly right now, and
Kimberly?
I will definitely do more than 5 minutes on Sunday. I can definitely do I can do an hour of doing nothing.
Okay. Wow. Okay. No agenda. No
No agenda.
agenda. Okay.
So that's the one
No
day
props
I
necessarily.
yeah, I don't ever work on Sunday. That's my day of rest.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that you have that. Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm. 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 Hmm.
but other than that, it's like I got so many things to do. Like I got a to-do list very long, and like I knock something off, but I get one thing knocked off and four more things get added on.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. That's
So I definitely need some help, and you know,
need to hire some help.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like, well, and it's funny because, on Alignable, I'm actually a leader in there, and I've actually been searching for three different people that I can hire in for certain things that I got that's coming up to, one, relieve me so I'm not so overworked. But yeah, it's a struggle, trying to get everything done. That's why it's like I have to have one day where that's my reset day, right? Through the week, I do hardly no time for myself. It's all about everything else. And then one day is my reset.
Mm-hmm. Well, I
That's
feel
why,
like
like, PQ in my life is the most important thing. Without the mental fitness, there's a support system and everything. Without that system, without the reps, without any of that, I'd be insane. But that really helps me kind of like mellow
so.
out and be able to handle some of the people,
So
you
were you
know,
insane before you learned about PQ then?
insane in the membrane. So I try to be all honesty and everything. I always tried to, before I do anything, I pray and I lift it up to God. And, thank you for your wisdom in what I'm about to do. Thank you that you're giving me your wisdom, strength, and protection in whatever I'm doing. Because some people, when you go in there, you definitely need help, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
But in all honesty, I try to do that. And
Mhm.
out of a whole day doing, let's just say 20 things, I might do it 2 times.
Mhm. Yeah. Oh, sure. We all,
You
yeah,
Right.
know, we
you're
we
fine.
intend to do it more,
Yeah.
but we physically don't do it as much. Now with
Yeah.
PQ, with the reps that we do, it's a lot
Mhm.
easier, right?
Mm.
And
Why? Why is it easier?
because it's just like, I guess I'm going to say it this way. Okay, I'm talking to you, Dee, and I don't know if you hear me or not. Well, I know you hear me, but I'm not hearing a response from you. And so I'm talking to you, but I don't have time. You're speaking to me. I just don't have time to listen to you right now. So it's a one-sided conversation with you. And but if I'm intentional and I'm focusing in on something and I'm getting something in return right now,
Yeah.
it's easier to do that because the return is now. Now, don't get me wrong, when I'm talking to you, I know I'm going to get a return, but I don't get it right now.
Yeah. I get that. With the PQ exercises, that's different.
Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though it's more
I
powerful
get
with
that.
him, less powerful with
Oh, I
PQ,
know.
but it's the
Yeah.
instant gratification.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm really encouraged that, yeah. It's not like I'm showing up here to try to help you in any way. We were just talking about this concept, but I'm really encouraged that, wow, that you carve out that day, that you have that day set aside.
That's one thing every since for a long time, ever since even before I'd say probably 97, 96. um, I made a commitment that that one day was always going to be set aside. I've had jobs. Well, we need you to work on Sunday. Well, then I'm going to quit. What? I told you when I started, Sunday's the only day I don't work. If you're going to force me to work on Sunday, I quit because I can easily get another job, you know. And I've always been very firm about one day resetting,
Hmm.
and I need that, especially because through the week, I'm lucky. Um, if I get 4 hours of sleep, perfect. If I get 6 hours, oh, I'm in heaven, right? If I get 8 hours, I don't even know what to do, you know.
Hey, audience, 2 hours doesn't work, okay? 4 hours doesn't work either.
Well, 4 hours, I'm good, right? two
Yeah, you see,
hours,
you're
I'm
good.
drinking Zip Fizzes and I'm drinking energy drinks.
Yeah.
4 hours,
I know,
I'm
some
good.
people say, yeah. I don't know. I'm skeptical. But I I'm not in your skin, so all the
Well,
more
and
power
I
to
always
you.
say this way, right? Um, one day I'm going to do nothing but sleep anyhow. So while I'm moving, might as well keep doing.
Mary, how many hours of sleep a night do you get typically?
Between 5 and 6.
Oh, really? Yeah, I'm a 7 to 7.5 hour girl.
I only dream about you guys.
Yeah.
That
Mm,
No,
much sleep I can
because
only dream about.
yeah, yeah. Huh.
Now, lately, it's like I want to try to go to bed like 1 o'clock in the morning. And when I look up, it's like 3 o'clock. I'm like, oh, shoot, I need to get to bed.
Yeah, if you keep the lights on and you're working and you keep yeah, it can be hard to go to sleep any earlier. You keep those things stimulate you, you know.
Hmm.
Um,
And especially when you get in the groove, you're just doing and you're just doing, and it's just like,
Yeah.
oh, I just got a little bit more, but that little bit more is a little bit more and a little bit more. And
Yeah, I
then,
know. I've been
time
through
always
seasons
flies when
like
you're
it.
busy. So,
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, I think we have to apply a little bit of the sweetness of doing nothing before we go to bed so that we can actually sleep.
the funny thing is, when I'm not one that struggles getting to sleep. When I lay my head down, I'm
Boom,
out.
huh? Yeah, okay.
It's no issues, no nothing. It's boom, boom, I'm out.
That's my husband, and it annoys me so much. It'll take me, it takes me some time. It's not terrible usually, but yeah, I mean, it's just like 20 seconds and he's asleep. I never do that, I don't think.
Oh, there's a lot of times I'm falling asleep as my head is hitting the pillow.
Really? Okay. Huh.
Well, me, it's because I'm overworked.
Now
So when
you're
you
making
work
me
so
yawn.
much,
Ugh.
when you work so
Okay.
much, when you actually lay down, you're out. And the funny thing is, and I'm just going to say this: the reason you say that you need more sleep is it takes a long time for you to get into that REM sleep. That REM sleep is what actually rejuvenates you, right?
Yeah, but you need several cycles of it.
But the funny thing is, even in the short amounts of sleep, I still get REM sleep.
Uh-huh. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's very powerful because especially
Yeah.
when I have less sleep to sleep, I find
Mm.
I get more sleep. Now I do, to be honest with you, I'm a little bit unfair because I'm like, okay, take me up on high like the Eagles, rip out the old, bring in the new, rejuvenate me in these few hours of sleep. So I do kind of, use an unfair advantage. But speaking of which, there's a couple things I want to mention here. First of all, Dee, it's a blessing having you here. And we actually have another podcast coming up. We're going to be starting
Yes,
a
we
debating
do.
podcast starting next month.
Oh. A what?
A debating podcast.
Oh, yeah, debating. I thought you said dating, and I thought you were going to mention the podcast that I'm aware of, but I thought you said dating, and I'm like, what?
Well, I don't know.
So third podcast?
Um, so,
Not in the
but
market.
and actually, Dee, you're actually going to be the first guest ever on the new podcast.
Oh,
Woohoo.
nice.
You are going to
Okay.
be, I'm not going to release it yet, but you are actually going to be our first topic that we're going to be talking about. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to be, it's always going to be the fourth Monday of every month. And you can actually look forward to seeing Dee on the very first one next month. The fourth Monday of June is going to be Dee and another
Nice.
guest.
That'll be so fun.
Yeah, right. To debate with, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you can't debate by yourself. I mean,
No,
you
you
can,
really
but it's
can't.
not, it
Well,
doesn't,
we
it's not
do
the
all the
same
time,
effect.
actually,
That's
in our
true.
minds, but
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So if you guys want to get on the debating podcast, we need two people, one on each side of whatever we're talking about.
Mhm.
So if you want to get in on that podcast, make sure you let us know so we can try to line you up with somebody that's going to be on the opposite side of the topic that you want to speak about. Or maybe you can line up with one of the topics we already have. One thing I have found is it is easy to find people that want to come on the podcast. It is hard to find two people of the same subject. I've got
On
a
the
lot of
opposite
people on
ends.
the
Right.
list one-sided, and we're
Yeah.
looking for the other side.
Yeah.
That's why when William actually said, "Oh, we got our first one," I was like, "We do," because both of us have a lot of people one-sided.
And I am on that opposite side, I would say, even though I initiated the topic, or William was asking me, the ones that I would be debating with would be in the majority. I am definitely among probably your community, the minority. So so you probably didn't have trouble finding the opposite to
Well,
debate
actually, it
with
was
me.
funny because William told me when he was talking to you, he's like, when she gave me her topic, I was like, I know somebody. I was like, oh, it was so funny how it came about. But I
Yeah.
mean, so I wanted to give kudos to you and to let everybody know. Make sure you check out the podcast. Matter of fact, this month we're creating an awesome ad that's going to be going out all next month. Now, the debating website, because it's harder to find guests to be on each side, it's only going to be once a month. So it's always the fourth Monday of every month. And the calendar that we have for all public events, it will be listed on there as well. So make sure you check that out. And it'll always have the topics and things like that as they come about. Next thing I wanted to mention is today we've talked a lot about PQ. And
We actually did,
there's
yeah.
a really cool support system that they have, a nice program you put on your phone or your computer that really helps keep you at that nice mindset. And there's first of all, you start off in a nice, simple 6 week thing to kind of get you the training, to get you understanding of how to do it. So it's really cool. The link is in the description below. You definitely want to check it out. And we also have this awesome community of a lot of people that you definitely want to check it out on Fridays. And I might get this wrong, 2:30 Eastern, I believe is the time.
I think so.
2:30 Eastern. But anyhow, it's in the calendar. It's also in the description below, but it's on the calendar. Make sure you check it out. It's for all people. We just talk and chill and have fun. It's very enlightening. So make sure you come and check it out. And we are so honored to have Dee here with us, for her to carve some time out of her calendar for us. So, Dee, I know you've got to let us know about a couple things.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah. Thank you for letting me share. Yeah. Again, description below, you can find my website. That's where you can find out a lot about what I do, how I help people. And for you, as the listeners, guys, I've got a low tier kind of call and session that you guys can have free if you just go to Dee Zimmerman Finance/talk. Okay. And I work with couples. I work with couples who have trouble talking about money without a fight. And that is my focus. I work on both the relational dynamics, the emotional spending, and all of the practical stuff. So if you are part of a couple and that is your story right now, I'd love to talk to you. You can schedule a call with that, and it's just called a financial partnership review. And we go over some of the blind spots that we have, financial blind spots. There are 7 that I've identified. We walk through that, and you get a snapshot summary of some of your top pressure points and some of the steps that you can take. So that's a tough place to be, guys. And I know sometimes you don't know how to talk to your spouse about making things better. So it can really help to say, hey, there's this gal out here who we could talk to, and we could figure out what the heck is going on and what we can do about it. So I think that's it. You guys got a bunch of links that'll be in the description, so anybody listening can go there.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So we are honored to have you here, and we're honored to have you on our first podcast of the new one.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
So and this podcast is not going away, so don't worry, this podcast is always going to be here. This is on personal development, and then the other one's going to be debating. So we are definitely honored for you to be here. And
Thank you,
Mary,
David. Thanks, Mary. Mhm. Thanks, guys. It was a privilege to have this conversation with you.
any final words, Mary?
She waved.
Well, everybody, we'll see you here again, the same bat time, same bat channel, next week's.